The Formula One Takoya Monaco Grand Prix is here this weekend for free practice one. We are back and it is here in round 8, Monte Carlo, Monaco, for the first practice session here this afternoon. 3 sectors, top speed of nearly 300 kilometres an hour, 3.337 kilometres, 2 miles, 297 kilometres of absolute circuits, 42 metres in elevation, 78 laps. So a lot of elevation, a lot of climb to be done. Of course, last weekend at Imola, we tested the tyres of the C6, C5 and C4. We said that the soft rubber was not the rubber to be on. Not really the tyre to be on here this weekend, but free practice one about to kick underway here. And the cars are going to head out there any moment now for their first practice session of the weekend. Recapping Imola. Here as track temperature just about to hit 40 degrees, humidity 42%, so quite high in terms of the humidity. 3.9 kilometres wind here, just southwest of, in terms of the wind, so not much wind around here around Monte Carlo, but the Principality seems to be well done up here this weekend. But first practice about to kick it right now. On that topic of the tyres here this weekend, the C4, the C5 and the C6, the soft tyre was not the tyre to be on last weekend in terms of qualifying. This weekend it's probably going to be it's going to be close to the same for that. So in terms of tyres, it's probably not, the soft tyres are probably not going to be the tyre to be on in terms of racing. So expect that to be a bit of a thing, but for free practice, I reckon the hard and the medium and the hard tyres will be used. But I reckon the reason why we didn't see much of the hard tyres in practice last weekend is because they don't know. I guess you sort of think you sort of know what the tyres are going to be like around there. Last weekend, Max Verstappen took a handy lead in the champion. Well, he didn't take a lead in the championship, but it's still Oscar Piastri leading the Drivers' Championship by just 22 points. Over Oscar Piastri, who is sitting in first. Then in second by Lando Norris, Verstappen, Russell, Leclerc and Hamilton in P6. So both Ferrari scored points last time out, but still quite the margin away, nearly 80 points off the lead of Oscar Piastri. So got a bit of work to do in the Drivers' Championship. In terms of the constructors though, it's still McLaren leading by nearly 150 points over Mercedes, because of course Mercedes haven't exactly been there in terms of their aggression towards in terms of attacking McLaren, so they haven't been able to do that much. But Ferrari will be they'll definitely be up there, I reckon, this weekend. So Ferrari seeing possibly a bit of a light being shined here at Monaco this weekend, being the way that they perform around here. And it's a home race for Leclerc, so Leclerc might be scoring some pretty good points here, but he just has to show that he has the pace around here. I reckon this weekend will be a good weekend for Ferrari, being they have struggled through the first part of the season, but practice one about to get underway here. 60 minutes, like all the sessions have been so far this season. 60 minutes, and green light is on at the end of the pit lane, meaning it is time to go. Around the Grand Prix de Monaco of 2025, Formula One Takoya Grand Prix of Monaco here this weekend. It's going to be a very, very important weekend for the championship for Ferrari and for most teams, to be honest. So this is going to be an important weekend. As you can see, Audi drivers heading out on the soft compound tyre, but for Max Verstappen, this is also another good weekend for him. He can try and drop that championship lead in terms of McLaren. So McLaren, they know that they are not the only ones that are fighting for this championship. They've known that from the very, very start, from the very, very start of the season, when they won that first race, I'm guessing they said to themselves, this is not going to stay the way it is, because we've seen that it has not stayed the way McLaren think it's going to here for Friday first practice. So definitely not going to stay that way. Monaco, a very, very technical circuit, and one that bites when you hit the wall around here. So if you make a mistake, it's all over, Red Rover. So this is going to be very, very important. One of the most trickiest corners on the circuit is probably the two chicanes that are around here. The two chicanes that are going to make a big, big, big play in terms of safety cars. This year, it is 2 mandatory pit stops have been introduced for the Monaco Grand Prix, which is going to be important because it's going to use more tyres, and more tyres means more action, and more tyres means more rubber. And that is not a good sign for, I think, what is Lewis Hamilton, who's trying to grab reverse, and that's Leclerc, who's already off to a rough start in his first practice session. 3 minutes in, cold tyres, possibly cold tyres for Leclerc, who's just gone straight on down there at turn 5. So that's before you hit the hairpin for Leclerc. So he's just gone off. Joe Guanyu on screen, the reserve driver for Ferrari, watching on. Hasn't been in here at the past few months. This is a matter of cold tyres, to be honest. And guess what? It is just cold tyres. But if he went off at any more speed, he would have probably touched the barrier. If he went off at any more speed, that is definitely a cold right front tyre for Charles Leclerc. Luckily, he's been able to grab reverse down there and kept that car going. Oscar Piastri, in the previous race, he started first and actually played the strategy wrong. He had a bit of a bottle with the strategy. When I said this throughout the race, it's probably not the best idea, and it wasn't the best idea, to be honest. He ended up P3 from P1, so it was an epic battle, actually, into turn 1 between Max Verstappen and Oscar Piastri. Those two battling all the way through the race to try and keep position, but in the end, Max Verstappen got down there at turn 2, which turn 1 wasn't actually a thing. Turn 2 was the main corner, that if you got in front, you would be leading the race. So that's practically what happened. So if you got in front at turn 2, you would most likely just pull away because of the grip that you'd have. So early on, you'd have so much grip early on that it'd just be insane. Now, the one thing that I've just noticed here within this session, and it's quite obvious, is that the harder compound tyre is being used a bit earlier in this session. Maybe probably testing it out, knowing that there's going to be a bit more running. There's going to be 2 stops in this race. It's mandatory. If you do not do 2 stops this weekend, it's possibly going to be a disqualification. It will be a disqualification if you do not do 2 stops here. Now, of course, this is a street circuit. Like most circuits Formula 1 go to, the circuit's very slippery when you first head out there. So the track is quite green at this point in time, being it is a street circuit, and it had to be made to actually race around here. So, of course, Formula 3, Formula 2 were running. Formula 3 were actually running before FP1. They were running in qualifying for the qualifying session. So, a fast qualifying session from Formula 3, and then, of course, Thursday, Formula 3 and Formula 2 practice were running as well. So, there's not much rubber being put on the circuit. It's quite low grip at the moment because of it being a street circuit. So the lap times won't be really, really indicative here. I reckon 13s will be shown in terms of qualifying pace. If you were to do a qualifying lap around here, I think it's like a 10 or 11 that could be the maximum time that you could do around here. But we have seen some epic races around here. Now, there is a bit of a grip difference around this circuit. And what I mean by a grip difference is the sunlight on the circuit compared to no sunlight. It's the sunlight from outside to sunlight not inside. So What I mean by inside is there's a bridge through this circuit, and you head under that bridge, and there's no sunlight, and that affects normally the grip level of the circuit through that part of the circuit. So it will affect the grip level through there. How much grip there is if it does rain under there is going to be quite interesting. So it's going to be an interesting topic to be talking about here. It's going to be all about the grip level, and if you can get that grip level right, you should be good. Really, I mean, nice though. He's finding the grip level. He's nearly half a second up on Fernando Alonso at this point, and now just dropped to 0.2 up on Charles Leclerc. He's just done a 15.249 on the medium compound tyre. Lando Norris is improving. Purple to the first sector, personal best in the second sector. I'll be saying this a lot this weekend as Lando Norris goes to the top here at Monte Carlo, 1:14.989, first 14 of the session. Now, the track, as I was talking about there, is quite green as Max Verstappen goes to the top 14.731. Isaac Hadjo's on a lap at the moment, personal best. And this is Leclerc, who's just had a bit of an issue as he's hit the hairpin. I mean, he's nudged the wall, so that's a problem for the Ferrari of Leclerc. And meanwhile, Hamilton goes to the top 1:14.576. So the track is coming to everybody here in this first practice session in the opening 10 minutes. This is a problem for Charles Leclerc, who's possibly going to get the meatball flag in a minute to try and change that front wing as he goes straight off the chicane. So that's a problem, and it's actually wearing out the rubber on those. It's wearing out the grip on those tyres, so he's going to have to come in. This is a problem for Leclerc as he's trying to lead very slowly at this point in time. But Leclerc does have the fastest first sector at the moment, 19.3. So this is a bit of a problem here for Leclerc as he's cutting the chicane to get back to the pits. So get a replay of actually what's happened down there for Leclerc, because this is a really good home race for Leclerc, and he can't bottle this, to be honest. He cannot. But at the moment he's P5 and he's done a 15.1 to go P5 at the moment. So they're going to take that front wing off, put a new one on, and get back out there. So it's not convenient because the circuit is, I reckon it's home to the front wing around here. So still a yellow flag out there. That's in sector 1. This is what happened. He's ran into the back of the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll. I thought he just went straight on down there at the hairpin and just nudged the wall, but he hasn't. It's Lance Stroll who's moved over. So that's quite a significant hit. Okay. So there's going to be a bit of damage maybe to the front left suspension of Leclerc's car. Oh, God, that's a crunch. That is a crunch and a half. And Leclerc is there. I just felt Leclerc crashing into the back of me. I didn't hear. Okay, so that's a problem. So there's now debris all over the road, and that is a red flag. So red flag in this session. The session has been stopped, and that's probably because of the debris that has been laid all over the circuit down there at the chicane. It's actually down there at the hairpin. It's caused a problem. So that's a problem. Red flag, and it will take probably 2 or 3 minutes to get that fixed up down there. But Lance Stroll out of the car. Now, there's going to maybe be a bit of repair needing to be done to fix the rear end of that car. It will probably be affecting him in terms of rear grip as well. He won't have the maximum grip that he needs to. And you can see there the team just looking into that, making sure that car is still okay. But you see all the debris down there at the chicane, and that is actually down at turn 18 before you hit the chicane. Of course, you can join the conversation. # Monaco Grand Prix Salesforce. It's actually all over the road down there. It's down at the hairpin, and it's down at the chicane. So that's a bit of a problem there for everybody out there. But the Monaco Grand Prix FP1 continues next. to FP1 here as the red flag has cleared and we are back to green flag for this session as we go back green here now. Of course, not many laps have been completed in this one, only 5 or 6 laps here, but there's also a few people that have been in the pit lane as well. So this an important session, being such a tricky circuit to try and go by, but FP free practice is all but important. And Nico Hulkenberg, who started P17 and finished P12, he seemed to I can't seem to hook up not too bad for that car didn't seem to hook up too bad for everybody at the Kick Sauber team, so it seemed to work pretty well, and they ended up P12. But at one point they were inside the points, which the team were very, very happy about. Of course, those points were going to go to Nico Hulkenberg, but it would have been really good for everybody down there to get the points. They were just a little bit off it though in this one. Of course, if you are enjoying, like button, subscribe. It will definitely help out the stream. Here's George Russell gets his lap underway here with about 44 minutes to go in this one. Russell, he definitely struggled last weekend, and he didn't have the best of weekends, and he's hoping to try and improve that here at Monaco as he runs through and makes his way into the hairpin and makes his way now through the bridge section. This is turn 8. If you're brave enough through on the exit of turn 8, you can use a bit of curb, and then this is turn 9 under the bridge, the one in the corner under the bridge, and before hit turn 10 at the chicane. Try not to clip the wall there on the left hand side. There's as much road on the inside there before you hit the wall. Turn 12. Right up to the wall. Turn 13, 14, 15. Nicely done. 16. Car slides out at 16 just a little bit into 17. This is the slow 17, 18, and then into 19. Now the other side. So this is the lap of Monaco for George Russell, and he's just gone to P2. He's just done a 14.655. Oscar Piastri improving on the soft rubber. He's personal best in the first sector, purple in the second sector. See what this lap is like as he runs through, uses the curb, uses a bit of curb on the outside as well. What's this lap like for Oscar Piastri? It's nearly half a second up. He's done a 13.8. It's the first 13 of the session for Oscar Piastri. And then a nice improving at this point in time, personal best. Personal best at the second sector as well. Improvements absolutely everywhere at this point in time. Oscar Piastri fastest second and third sector. Lando Norris is about 2/10 off that at the moment. And he's improving quite rapidly. Lando Norris, as he crosses the line, personal best first and second sector. Lap is for Lando, 13.61. So he's found about 2/10 in that final sector to go to the top. So McLaren immediately showing their pace early on in this session. Nearly 7/10 quicker than Lewis Hamilton. Oscar 7/10 in front of Hamilton. That was a really good lap from Lando, actually. That was a really good qualifying lap. Really good qualifying simulation. Whoa! And if you could get any closer. Wow. That's... wow. Okay. Starting point with Leclerc as he runs up through turn 1. This is the run through the castle section. Through the puncher buildings as you run through turn 4. Dip into turn 4, and then there's a bump which you have to sort of just dodge a little bit. That bump can actually affect lap time for everybody that runs through there. And then as turn 6, this is hairpin for Leclerc. It seems to exchange that quite nicely. It's turn 7 as he runs through turn 7, and he's just actually backed out of it as he hits into turn 8. Even if a driver is backed out of a lap like that, it's always still good to watch on. Verstappen improving on the hard tyres. At the moment now, immediately what I'm seeing from the hard rubber here, we didn't see much of the hard tyres in Imola. They seem to be, this isn't a very high dead circuit for these tyres. So I reckon we should be able to get some good lap time out of these tyres here. As Max Verstappen improving to the first sector, he's purple, just got personal best here as Lewis Hamilton goes purple to the first sector. So the track is coming to everybody. Personal best first and second sector for Max Verstappen. Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton improving. Someone else has just beaten that first sector. We'll see what Lewis's second sector is like as Max Verstappen comes to the line. And he's about 2/10 off the pace, and he's on a 13.897. Lewis Hamilton is improving, and he's going rapidly at the moment for Hamilton as he runs through the final few corners. Turn 18, a bit of understeer before he hit there. Turn 19, use a bit of inside curb. Use the outside curb, and you run through. What's this lap going to be for Lewis Hamilton? P4. And that is 14.0 for Lewis Hamilton. Oscar Piastri's gone back to the top. 13.508 as Leclerc runs turn 10, turn 11. Get as close as he can to that inside wall out on the exit of 11. This is 12, runs right to the outside wall. Car bottoms out before he hit the chicane of 14 and 15 into 16, 17 as he come up. And through the final section of the circuit, turn 19. Out the other side, with about 39 minutes to go in this session. Leclerc goes P3, 7/10 off the pace though, 13.826. Plays a 13.036 for Lando Norris. Liam Lawson, as he just comes into, this is the final few corners, and that's a problem. So Lawson was going to build up for a lap, and Ferrari was just in front of him. And he hit Hamilton like he braked before the last corner. So, yeah, usual stuff, Hamilton. Usual Hamilton stuff. So, classic. As the Haas and the Vision catch up RB runs through the hairpin. You think of an hour and I think that's plenty of time. To be honest, it's really not. It's really not that much time. So you don't have that much time to plan ahead in this session because the 60 minutes it's not much. So you just have to try and get as much lap time done as humanly possible. Here with just about 38 minutes to go in this one as Hadjar rounds through the final couple of corners, and this lap keeps him P13, doesn't improve. Max Verstappen just come off a win in Imola. He's very, very happy with it. But now he's going to focus up here at Monaco. He can probably go 2 in a row at this point in time, but Red Bull just had too much pace. Like, it was insane the amount of pace he had at Imola, and he's maybe showing a bit more pace again here as he's P2 in the standings here in FP1. It's not really a indicative session as of yet because the track is still quite green at this point in the weekend, so it's not a real indicative session, but it's close to it. Alex Albon, 1.1 seconds off the pace of Lando Norris. Meanwhile, Oscar Piastri improving to the second sector on the soft tyres. Hamilton's just gone up to P2.3, so he's done 13.3. Piastri's P4 at the moment, he's improving to the second sector. Alex Albon's improving. He's gone P10, so not showing the pace he had in Imola. Oscar Piastri's just gone back to the top though by 5 thousandths, 13.031, plays a 13.036. Leclerc improving, personal best, second sector, purple first sector. We'll see what this lap is like now for Leclerc, with 36 minutes to go as he runs through on a few corners. Turn 19 and then make him run up to the line and moves up to P3. He's done a 13.1. Nico Hulkenberg's gone P6. He's just done 13.8. Pierre Gasly improving as well. Personal best first sector. Not so quick to the second sector. What's this lap going to be here for Pierre Gasly in the Alpine? He's on one spot, P8 at the moment. as we take a look here at this Aston Martin. So there's a bit more substantial damage to Lance Stroll's car, to the rear end of that. So there's probably a few axles broken in that car, which is probably affecting the rear grip of that car. Fernando Alonso, he's through the medium speed corners so far. He's about 0.3 quicker through the medium speed corners at the moment. The one person that we haven't talked about here this weekend is Kimi Antonelli, who had a shocking weekend. Well, it wasn't so shocking, but it was close to it. Mechanical failure last night. Nico Hulkenberg just through the exit hairpin, just had a bit of a bump with the wall, and Lando Norris getting up on two wheels as he runs through the chicane. Imagine sitting, oh my, that is as close as you can get it to it. Lando Norris using every bit of O, maximising every bit of lap time around Monte Carlo. And of course, if you've been in the car, it will be not very good. It won't be very fun to repair. Lewis Hamilton, 8th podium, could be on for his 8th podium here at Monaco around this circuit. Now, immediately the Ferraris are looking quick because Leclerc P3, Hamilton P4. Only if this happens at Imola. But, of course, one more Italian circuit remaining on the calendar. Purple first sector, personal best second sector. Hamilton's improving, possibly on to go to the top by nearly 2/10 over Oscar Piastri. Lap time of a 12.8. That's a really good lap time. An improvement indeed. 12.846 for Lewis Hamilton. Lando Norris improving quite rapidly at the moment. He's nearly 2/10 up on Lewis Hamilton once again. Lando Norris runs through the final chicane, runs through the final few corners, and comes out the other side. P1, half a second, 12.29 from Lando Norris. Maximising every bit of grip out on the circuit. Maximising every bit of runoff for Lando Norris. He's gone to the top, 12.29. Just a really quick lap early on. And the McLarens and the Ferraris are looking maybe a bit too quick. It's 1.1 seconds back to Max Verstappen. So, looking dangerously quick at the moment for the McLarens and the Ferraris. Dangerously quick at the moment. Liam Lawson improving. Personal best first sector. Personal best second sector. He's 1.6 seconds off the pace at the moment. He's improving, but it's probably not going to be good enough now. I mean, the hard tyres have been used that little bit more compared to what the soft tyres were in free practice in Imola. Liam Lawson, P16 on that lap, 2.5 seconds off the pace, 14.839. So just a little bit off there in terms of the lap time, but close enough. 2.5 seconds off the pace, and the RB team looking on at the data. George Russell, turn 1. Nearly catching George Russell out. And in terms of the AWS super close to the wall, it's about 4 centimetres covering the rubber end of the wall. So, exchanging paint. Blue paint for silver paint. I don't think that will mix very nicely. The Alpine of Pierre Gasly as he shoots his way down into the chicane, and that never ended well. Gasly saying over the radio, what are these guys doing? Gotta wake up, it's Monaco. So, Monaco, yeah, it's not an easy circuit. Definitely not. McLaren running a different livery this weekend. One of their history in Formula 1. So running a bit of a different livery for McLaren. Meanwhile, Leclerc, that first sector is looking dangerous. 0.3 up in that first sector. He's done an 18.79. He's nearly 0.3 up in that first sector there for Leclerc. This is going to be a very, very smart lap from Leclerc as he's pulling up personal best, purple first sector, yellow second sector. So not as quick, but he's still 0.3 up on Lando Norris at this point in time. The thing is, can he improve? He's actually lost half. He's lost half a second on this lap. What's this lap going to be though? P2. So yeah, he did lose a bit of time, but he gained back about a 10th in that last sector, so it wasn't too bad. He's down at 12.6. The Monaco fans cheering on Leclerc. Of course, you can join the conversation. Salesforce, hashtag Monaco GP. Join that conversation and get into the vibe.
I smell brakes in here really bad. Okay. Liam
Lawson there. Smelling brakes. So that's not a good sign at all, actually, because when you tend to smell brakes, it can never be a good thing. As the team pit stop practice going on, that wasn't a bad stop. But that's definitely a problem if you are smelling brakes. The smell of burning brakes is not good. Under investigation, turn 15, impeding Bortoleto and Verstappen. So, Verstappen, they say, me, man.
Okay.
So, Bortoleto, they're just struggling a little bit, maybe, to keep that car on the road. And well, he was, because he definitely is struggling. Kimi Antonelli struggled, as I said, in Imola. With a mechanical failure, that car seems to be fixed back up and running. Of course, they only had a week to fix it, so it's not the longest time ever, but you definitely get time to definitely get a break as well. Kimi Antonelli, P6, P11, P6, and P6 plus a DNF in Italy, so definitely hurt his championship run this year for that incident. But Kimi Antonelli starting his actual qualifying lap here, so he's on to if these soft tyres can come up to tempered pressure here, it could be on a good lap.
A lot of other people drop downhill past the bump, and then you turn right into Mirabel. Front right, always off the gum. It's easy to focus on all the fast parts of the track, but there's so much lap time we've won and lost actually through these slow corners. We're spending a lot of time in the corners in first, second, third gear. Through the tunnel, and then under braking for the chicane. Really important to get the brake balance right. You go over a crest, the rear of the car gets light as you go over that crest. A bit bumpy as well, despite a bit of resurfacing in recent years. Second intermediate comes up after to back. You get over the curb and fully commit to the curb on the left, and then we'll see second part of swimming pool again. Not really hitting the yellow sausage curve that we're seeing some other drivers doing. So Antonelli doing the right thing as a rookie property, I think, and dialing himself in. You know, he's always exciting to watch. He's got a lot of flair, hasn't he? But
there you go, so Corinne Chandok there speaking for a lap of Monaco, and that is a lap of Monaco. It being shown on board by Kimi Antonelli. Yeah, Kimi Antonelli doing all the right things to produce a lap around Monaco, but heard Corinne there say about the bump.
We are nowhere. Sliep de steer. Left corner, sliep wel de steer.
So Leclerc there saying struggling with understeer. Yes, just understeer. So he's struggling with understeer for Leclerc, which is why we've seen him about 3 centimeters off the wall a few times so far. So it's looking like a bit of a struggle for Leclerc, as that is the Williams at turn 1. That's a problem. That's Carlos Sainz, who's almost like he's backing out of a parking way down there. And he is checking his mirrors, making sure nobody's coming. And that is his teammate just up in front. So that's a problem for Carlos Sainz, who's just gone on down there at turn 1. It's a driver's instinct. When you miss the apex of turn 1, you tend to just turn left, and there's a scapegoat off there. I was hearing rumours that they were going to get rid of that escape road, but they never ended up doing that, which would have made it interesting because he would have gone to turn left and it would have been barriers on the left-hand side. But this is what happened. He's just locked them right front. Couldn't turn left. That's a problem, and he's actually got out on the dirty stuff, which is Formula 3 rubber. What I'd like to call that. That looks to be Formula 3 rubber, big chunks of Formula 3 rubber off the outside of the circuit down there. So that's a problem. Leclerc improving, first sector, 18.786, who was just complaining about understeer. So compared to him and Nice, he's actually a bit quicker through the faster stuff, not so quick through the slower stuff. So maybe a bit of front wings need to be adjusted there for Leclerc's car, but it doesn't seem too bad at the moment. So that's not too bad. Purple first sector, personal best second sector. Lap is, wow, quick lap, 11.96 from Leclerc. Track is coming to everybody. It's creeping up just a little bit more. P16 at the moment for Kimi Antonelli. He's improving. Personal best first sector. Second sector as well. Lewis Hamilton improving as well. So a bit of a happy hour going on for everybody out there. Personal best showing up everywhere at the moment. Kimi Antonelli moves up to P14, 13.922. And not showing pace at the moment for the Merc of Kimi Antonelli. P3 for Hamilton. He's done a 12.6. Offsides at the moment. He's been in P5. And Williams, they've been showing their pace in free practice. They're definitely showing their pace in free practice, but they just haven't been able to show it throughout the race. They were showing it. They actually had pretty good pace in Imola last time out, so I reckon that could be showed a bit more. Yellow flag, and that is one of the McLarens. That is Lando Norris. It's been really quick so far in the session. He's just gone off at the first corner, so really quick people are even struggling. So Leclerc, our first sector for Leclerc, is looking really quick. He's even outmatching Lando Norris. And once again, got out on the Formula 3 rubber. Got out on those little marbles that have built up on the outside of Turn 1 down there. So that's becoming a problem for everybody. Understeer, that is the definition of that. And I reckon that's a centimetre. I reckon that's the new world record. Lewis Hamilton out of Turn 1, getting a little sideways. And there's a bit of there's definitely a little bit of margin between Hamilton and the wall. Definitely. Alex Albon at the moment, he's currently not improving. He's not on the best of laps at the moment. So maybe looking to improve just a little bit. He's actually now improving. So personal best second sector, half a second off Leclerc. It's on for 12.4. Actually on for 12. Yeah, on for 12.4 at the moment. And that would put him P3. So just jump him in front of his teammate. What's his lap like? P5. So not bad for the two Williams inside the top few cars at the moment. Inside the top 5 for both the Williams. That's looking like a strong performance. Isaac Hadjo on the racing. Bit of a nudge with the wall. I think that's 0 centimetres. Is there a bit of damage maybe?
That threw him off.
So that threw Isaac Hadjo off just there a little bit. And as it would, the walls running at Monaco are a little bit dangerous. The walls around here. So wouldn't like to be a friend of a Monaco wall. Definitely not. Fernando Alonso, who also struggled at Imola, hoping to maybe come back here at Monaco and show his pace in that Aston Martin as he runs through. Before you get to 5, there's a bit of a bump. So you just have to move to the left-hand side. If you avoid that bump, you tend to find a lot of time. A lot of time is the definition of that.
Verstappen, new turbocharger for Max Verstappen, all within their allocation for the season, no penalties as a result.
Oscar Piastri's just popped up into third, so he's now just half a tenth behind, 500 behind Lando Norris, but Charles Leclerc still at the top of the times. Piastri on a set of mediums. When he's done that time, Norris on a set of mediums now, but not as quick as he was before.
Meanwhile, Fernando Alonso pushing hard as he makes his way past our commentary boxes and towards Raskas. This is the 250th Grand Prix to take place since Fernando Alonso's last win in Spain in 2013. He crosses the line and he goes 7th fastest in his Aston Martin. Ahead of him, Alex Albon, Lewis Hamilton, Carlos Sainz, Oscar Piastri, fastest lap on the mediums, Lando Norris, and so far so good for Charles Leclerc.
Indeed, so far so good there for Fernando Alonso, who is definitely coming a bit quicker, a little bit more quicker as the weekend goes on. He's just popped up at a P5, so not a bad lap for Fernando Alonso as free practice one continues in a bit. Oscar Piastri improving at the moment. He's personal best, but yellow to the second sector. Oscar saying, I've hit the wall. So that's a problem. So the McLaren of Oscar Piastri has just had an edge with the wall, and that's going to be a problem. if there is any damage with that car. Get a replay in a minute there, but Oscar Piastri having a bit of a nudge with the wall, so that's a problem. There, this is practice one of the Talagoya Formula One Grand Prix de Monaco of 2025, and it's looking like a not a bad day to be racing on the circuit. Yeah, with elevation, cambered corners, hairpins, chicanes.
I think there's something wrong with the car.
Okay.
And that's consistent from
Claire, they're saying for your information, there is maybe just something a little bit wrong with the car. Doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right. The car is maybe having a few little dramas. Max Verstappen on a brand new set of soft compound tyres. This is the one set that he's actually allocated through this session, and he's using it at the moment. So it's like really important for Max Verstappen.
so he's the first car that'll come up.
Oh, bit of a wobble there.
Yeah. They keep out of the way. Piastri and Portoletto is about 3 tenths down. But this is a Friday. Don't expect Max to be quick on a Friday.
Throw in the steering wheel on there. The front's not there. I feel like there's a lot of three-wheeling going on. Nobody they had that issue in Singapore.
There's a he was aggressive with the front there and turned it again, but it gripped and he lost the rear.
It's but all through the right of Casino, Miracle, Hampton, everywhere. It looks like it's just sort of, quite stiff and the one wheel off the ground. Which, remember that season they dominated everything, and then they had that three-wheeling issue in Singapore.
Yeah.
I don't remember which year it was. It looks a bit like that.
The 19 out of 20 as Lando Norris goes on. What was that? 23 Carlos Sainz won in
Yes,
Singapore.
that was it. It wasn't thank you.
So yeah, Lando Norris just going straight on down there, and aborting that lap. But you heard their crew in there saying the car looks very unstable for Max Verstappen. This is Lewis Hamilton, who's just coming out of the tunnel and had a bit of a bump. So he actually had a bump with the right-hand side wall before he hit the second swimming pool. So, he's not happy with that. Turn 10 and locking the right front there for Lando Norris, who's then aborted the lap. So that's definitely not a good sign. Oh, he's just used that inside curb. So the inside curb down there just unsettled the car on the right-hand side, but he's not going to be happy with that. 11.964 for Leclerc, followed by Norris, Piastri, Carlos Sainz, Alex Albon, Lewis Hamilton, Russell, Alonso, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Behrman, Gasly, Hadjar, Verstappen, Antonelli, Lawson, Ocon, Colapinto, Portoletto, and Lance Stroll. So I've just rattled off the whole entire field, with Behrman sitting outside the top 10. Pierre Gasly up at the P9. 1 second off the pace, he's down to 12.9. Max Verstappen, P14, he's done his lap on the hard tyres. He's now on the soft tyres, and his personal best first and second sector is going to move him up quite a far chunk. P6 for Max Verstappen. He's done a 12.6 to go. P6 in this session with 11 minutes to go. Yeah, so as we're a bit later on, when I'm back for FP2, the track will be a bit quicker, being Formula 2 will have put down a bit of rubber, and Porsche Super Cup is also here for their, I think it's qualifying. Porsche Super Cup and Formula 2 is out again before FP2, so there you go. And showing by what you're seeing on screen at the moment, medium speed corners, Leclerc. He's fast through the medium speed corners, followed by Verstappen, second in the medium speed corners. So, not looking too bad. Franco Colapinto, the first championship Monaco Grand Prix in 1950 was won by Argentinian Jean-Manuel Fagno. I'm not sure, I think I butchered that name. Absolutely butchered that name. There, so back in 1950. So how that relates to Franco Colapinto, absolutely no idea. Do not ask me. Oscar Piastri, this is as he's coming out of the tunnel and he's dropping into turn 10, the swimming pool section. Had a bump with the walls. That's what Oscar was talking. Oh, actually, I think that was 2 bumps. Was that 2 bumps? Not sure. But that curb has unsettled that car, gave it understeer, and Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. That is close. I think that was just that first initial hit that he was talking about. So I don't think he physically bumped. I don't know. That's really close. Really close indeed. But yeah, definitely close. 10 minutes to go in this session. And Leclerc still leads 1:11.967. He's just come out of the pits. But the two Mercs are improving. Their personal best first sectors are looking quite dangerous. 53 flat in the first sector for Leclerc. 53.4 for Russell. So 0.4 off. Pacing continues to be 4.4 for pace in that second sector. So this lap not looking too bad for Russell. It's going to be about P4 at this point in time. Meanwhile, Kimi Antonelli not looking as quick. He's P15 at the moment, and they're on both soft rubber. So, see what this lap is for Russell. It's going to be about P4. It is P4. About half a second off the pace. 12.482. What's this lap for Kimi Antonelli? It's going to be about P9 or P10. P11. So, 1.1 seconds off the pace. Kimi's struggling for a bit of pace in this session. 9 minutes to go in this one. Max Verstappen, first sector, second sector, personal best. So, not too bad there. What's this lap like? P2. Not too bad. It took a few laps to do that lap, but it's a 12.2. And he probably took the best life out of the soft compound tyres. It's going to be practically about the one-shot qualifying around here. Oh, and big curb up for Hamilton.
Wow.
I'm just going completely out of the curve.
I've not seen a move like that in a red car since the Dukes of Hazzard, quite frankly.
That was big. That's a big impact. First on the turn in, and then obviously the so.
That is definitely a very big impact for Lewis Hamilton, who's come at that curb quite viciously. And there will be substantial floor damage to that car. I can tell you that much. There will be substantial floor damage to that car for Lewis Hamilton, but not what they probably would have needed for Ferrari, who have been quick lately. I mean, Imola was all right, especially being their home grounds. But they definitely scored points, so the Italian fans will definitely be happy with that for Ferrari. So not too bad. But Leclerc leading this session. It's his home race this weekend. He's not improving at the moment, but he will most likely be on to improve. Of course, he won last year's Grand Prix, his first home win ever around Monaco. Can he go 2 in a row around Monaco? He won last year for his first time around here. His first timer for Leclerc. He's hoping to go back to back, but there's going to be a bit more pressure being put on Leclerc this year. You've got people like the McLarens of Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris. A lot of pressure from those two. Lewis Hamilton at the moment, just chilling in that car. Not too worried about anything at the moment. Just chilling inside that car. Russell improving. Personal best first sector. What's this second sector going to be like for Russell? It's not as quick. It's about a second off the pace. But it's 7 thousandths faster than Gasly in the second sector. So always something to match to there. But Russell P6 at the moment, he's backed off that lap and might go back into the pits for George Russell or go on for another lap. Gabriele Bortoleto, P18 at the moment. His personal best first sector is not too bad, but those are new soft tyres for Bortoleto, and he's using them quite nicely at the moment, as he's about 0.8 off in that second sector. This lap's not too bad. He's improving. About a second off the pace, though, 0.8, as he slides his way out of turn 18 into turn 19 and out the other side. Gabriele Bortoleto, what's this lap going to be like? It's going to be lost about 7 tenths in that final sector. Stays P16. Moves up 2 spots, P16. Kimi Antonelli, he's been struggling so far in this first practice session. P11, 0.1 seconds off the pace. Personal best first sector into the swimming pool. Turn 10, turn 11. Nice and close to that inside wall. Turn 12, even closer to the inside wall. So Antonelli using every bit of road. He's had a bit of a sideways moment coming out of the chicane. So he's using every bit of grip available on those soft tyres, using every bit of wall, every bit of track. So that's the way you will most likely maximise the lap time around here. Kimi Antonelli, this won't be the best lap, and he's lost 1.4 seconds in that final sector. P11, Max Verstappen P2 at the moment, personal best first sector. Slides right to the wall and out. That's actually out of turn 8 into turn 9, and then the swimming pool into turn 10. Turn 11, even still sideways. So as to what Kurun Chandrock was saying there, still that car looking very sideways, but it's not a bad second sector. It's about 2/10 off Leclerc, so he's going to most likely improve on this lap. About getting a bit more sideways coming out of turn 18 and turn 19, but you get that, really. Verstappen to the line, he doesn't improve, 0.16. He's practically done the lap that he did to go P2. He's done a 12.163 to go P2. Leclerc P1. Yuki Tsunoda in the Red Bull. Oh, nice and close to the wall. Used a bit of curb, and that lap is gone. Used too much curb, turn 9. Actually, sorry, turn 10. Doing that Supercross style for Yuki Tsunoda. And coincidentally, when you use too much of that curb, he ends up getting a bit sideways. Doesn't end well for you. Oscar Piastri, he's on a run of 33 consecutive point scoring race weekends for Oscar Piastri. So not too bad for him. He's running through turn 11 at the moment. This is through the Raskas and out the other side. Oscar Piastri, he's on to start a lap at the moment. He's now just started his lap as he runs up through turn 1. P5 at the moment, he's done a 12.4 to be P5. Just in behind the Williams of Alex Albon. Here, as Piastri just dodging the bump before you hit turn 5, turn 6 is the hairpin. Very slow hairpin, the slowest corner we have on the calendar for Formula 1 Grand Prix. Turn 8. Of course, this is not the only category I'm streaming this weekend. Not the only thing I'm streaming. Not only just Formula 1, I'm streaming the Italian F4 Championship, which will be streaming out from 8 PM tonight. Oscar Piastri, P5 at the moment. He's improving. Well, he's not actually improving. He's about a second off the pace to everybody else. 1.5 seconds now to that second sector. So testing the durability of the soft tyres here at the back end of this session. And just being held up there by one of the Mercedes cars. So in the end ended up being 3.6 seconds off the pace. There he's done a 13.7, sorry. Stay where he is. This is Yuki Tsunoda being held up by Esteban Ocon.
Yeah, copy that. Also very nice.
That guy.
Yuki Tsunoda over the radio, they're saying not very happy with that response, not very happy with people holding him up, and that guy is Ollie Behrman. As Max Verstappen finds a bit of space to do a bit of a qualifying simulation. It's very hard to get space around here. Remember, go back to 2022 when he did the lap of the gods around Monaco, and maybe about to do that again. Max Verstappen, he's done a 12.0, and this lap will not be the lap that he does this fast lap. Of course, he surpassed Vettel's 3,501 career laps led at Imola. He surpassed that last weekend. Fun little stat there for you. He surpassed that 3,501 He's done 3,500 and something. I'm not sure, but he's definitely surpassed it. George Russell, who's building up for a lap here with 20 seconds to go. To a bit of people are about to start doing qualifying simulations. George Russell, he's had 3 career race wins. Can he move that on to 4? Of course, the previous race he started P3, finished P7. He's on to beat that. George Russell, he's on a lap. Now he's just started a lap, P6 at the moment. Let's hand it back to your Sky Sports commentators for the rest of the session as they talk through George Russell's lap.
I feel like that's his approach, is to just, when it counts, I'll be there.
Yeah, totally.
And you'll be there too, and where you'll be in about 5 minutes' time is the Sky Pad, so you
Yes.
need to leave.
I better go. It's a bit of a walk.
It is. It's been a pleasure having you in the box, Steve for FP2. Run, Karoon, run. Checker flag is out. George Russell can finish this lap.
You'd have to say with Oscar as well, he's not really had luck on his side when it's come to safety cars this year. Miami sprint, and also last weekend in Imola,
Yeah.
it's cost him some points. So he's not had that on his side. It's definitely going to swing around and be in his favour at some point.
What goes around comes around, and needing to turn around, Gabriel Bortoletto. That's Sander Vos, just making sure that there's nothing coming. Liam Lawson is on his way. There he is, in the Racing Bulls.
See the lovely print that it leaves on your tyres, those bricks there.
And it leaves a bit of a rubber mark as well on those tiles. Just have a service today on a Sunday morning down the Chapel Sanderbots ahead of the race in the Marshall just to kind of go along to the service. Not sure whether they do that or not now.
Oh, that would be lovely. I'd definitely go along with it if they did.
No lock up, but just not making the corner, so an easy one to bail out of. Charles Leclerc with a 1:11.9. Fastest time last year was a 1:12.1, so from Lewis Hamilton, so a couple of tenths quicker than we were last year. And that backs up what Charles Leclerc's been saying all week long. We are not very good in the slow speed corners. If they're quickest on the straights, have they turned their engine up a little bit more than others, you wonder?
Possibly, yes.
The busiest P1 of my life.
Welcome to Formula One, Isaac Hadger, who, by the way, you might not have spotted it, is running an Ayrton Senna tribute helmet for this weekend. He says that when you think of Ayrton Senna, you think of Monaco, the most successful driver here. And his helmet not only has got the 7 colours, but it's also got a load of Ayrton Senna stats on there as well. So I wholeheartedly agree with on that one. It's mega, and it's a really, really nice tribute from Isaac Hadger. There's your fastest man in FP1. Only 3 of the last 27 Grand Prix, by the way, and I'm not trying to put a damper on it. Just keep your just keep your hopes in reality. Only 3 of the last 27 Grand Prix have been won by the driver who led FP1.
I mean, he's had a bit of a session, hasn't he, Charles? With the incident at the start with Stroll, for putting the quickest lap down. I think that's a good comeback. It's something he probably needed after that little shot.
And all in a car that he's not overly happy with. On a track where a driver can, of course, make a difference. Should they feel the confidence? If he hasn't got any confidence here, where's he ever going to have any confidence after last year and that magnificent victory for Charles? Really emotional day here in Monaco. 3-time pole sitter. Finally, it went right there. It was also his first podium here, and let's face it, he's had a lot of bad luck over the years, but when it comes good, it comes good.
Exactly.
Second fastest, Max Verstappen. Third fastest, Lando Norris, championship leader. Fifth fastest, Alex Albon in that top 4.
Yeah.
For a wood.
I will be back from 3:30 local time to stream FP2. But of course, I'll be back from 8:10 to stream first race for Italian F4. See you then. Bye bye.